Have you not had the best experience with selling agents in the past? In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 tips to help you deal with selling agents to be successful when making a property purchase, whether it's for your own home or it's for an investment. Now, as a buyer's agent, I deal with selling agents every day of the week, and I've had some great experiences with selling agents and some not so good experiences as well. I'd say about 90% of agents are great to deal with, but 10% of agents give their brand and selling agents a bad reputation through some of the things they do. So let's discuss these tips as to how you can deal with these selling agents and put your best foot forward when making an offer and trying to purchase a property. Tip number 1 is to understand the vendor's or the seller's motivations. Understanding what the seller wants is going to help you present your offer. Now, how exactly are you going to find this out? How are you going to understand the seller's motivations? You need to ask the selling agent. And don't come off too forward when you do this. I've seen people run into open homes and straight up to the selling agent and what do they want and how much and what are their plans. Try and be a bit more casual with your approach and a bit more personal with the selling agents. Selling agents are people at the end of the day, and the bulk of them just want to have a chat, and they also want to do their job in selling a property. So what I like to do when having a chat with the selling agent and trying to understand the seller's motivations is I ask the question, what's the story with this property? It's a very open-ended question, and it allows the selling agent to go on as short or as long in terms of giving you information about the sellers and about the home. And then usually based on the feedback I get, I try and get more out of that agent. So where are they moving, or what are their plans, or is this an investment? If so, what's it been renting for? Who's been managing the property? It comes naturally, and you don't want to fire these questions off very directly. Take a casual approach, ask the selling agent what the motivations of the seller are. This is going to help you shape your price and terms when making an offer. This leads me into tip number 2 when dealing with selling agents, and this is don't be so serious. It's okay to give the selling agent some information about yourself. A lot of people try and withhold the information as to what they're looking for. They might be owner-occupiers looking for a specific suburb or a specific type of house. You might be an investor looking for a specific size block or a specific orientation. Everyone's got different requirements for their property search, and revealing that to the agent isn't necessarily going to put you in a worse position. As an investor and a buyer's agent myself, I typically like to share this information with selling agents because whether they have this property or another property on their books, they can then start looking for you and doing a bit of the legwork in terms of offering you opportunities that might fit your buying brief. For example, Emily and I have been looking at renovation projects. So through my network and through what we do here at Purpose Property in our Brisbane buyers agency, we get access to a lot more opportunities. So we can vet these renovation potential opportunities, have chats with agents, and see what's out there in the market. Letting your guard down a little also helps you with building rapport. Agents are people. They have lives, they have kids, they have families, they have hobbies. Most of them are pretty personable. Like I said, 10% tend to be in the bracket I don't really like to deal with, but you still got to deal with anyway. And 90% are fantastic. So just have a conversation, be personal, tell them about your story, ask them about the story for the selling property, and you're going to get a lot more information about the sellers, and they're going to have more information about you, which can let them send you more opportunities. Now, point number 3 is do your research. I see buyers out there not knowing what a property is worth, not knowing what comparable sales are in the current market. You need to understand the specific suburb and the specific property that you're looking at. Selling agents are typically experts in their areas, whether they focus in a set group of suburbs, in a local government area or a local city council, or even a greater area like Greater Brisbane. These agents are selling property day to day for their day job, so they're going to be educated, and you need to be educated as well. It doesn't take a lot of time, a few hours of research prior to going to an open home or before having a chat with a selling agent can give you all the information you potentially need to be educated and having conversations and getting more out of those agents. If an agent is quoting a price that you think is too high, maybe mention a comparable sale that you saw within the last few months. This will help show your understanding of the market and where you see value for a particular property. The important part here is being educated means you're making a calculated risk when making a purchase, and it can help you in in the negotiations for a property, as you can back up what you're saying with data, with comparable sales, with your understanding of the general market, and it can give you a bit of an edge at the negotiating table. Tip number 4 is to remove emotion from the situation. Now, whether you're an owner-occupier or an investor, this can be very different. Owner-occupiers tend to fall in love with properties a little bit more, but it's important as an owner-occupier not to fall in love until that property has gone unconditional and you're moving towards that settlement. I typically don't like to count my chickens, so I usually wait till settlement before I get excited with a property purchase. So when you're negotiating, when you're looking at different homes across different suburbs, make sure you remove the emotions. Look at the data, look at the numbers, and understand the risk profile. You need to look at vacancy rates, days on market, how long has the property been on the market, how does this stack up against other opportunities, and what are your debt to equity ratios going to be? You need to understand that selling agents are going to be working in the best interest of their vendor, and so they're going to try and push you into an emotional situation, whether they can have an auction scenario or whether they can say they've got multiple offers on the table and they need your best and final. And is that your actual best and final? Don't get caught in those traps. Understand what your maximum purchase price is, run the numbers, take the emotion out of it, and then go ahead and make that offer if you're in a private treaty. The same scenario applies to auctions. Again, set that limit and work towards that limit and don't go any higher. If you're an investor, this should be a little bit easier because there's another fish in the sea. There's always going to be another property out there. And so run the numbers through your calculator. I actually have an investment property calculator that you can download for free from my website at purposeproperty.com.au. There's also a video attached with that workbook. It's a Google Sheet and it can run you through the numbers, the assets, the liabilities, the equity, and the profit and loss expected on that property. So make sure you calculate the numbers and remove your emotion from the situation, and this will give you an advantage when dealing with selling agents. This leads me into tip number 5, which is be willing to walk away from a deal once you've hit your maximum purchase price. As I was saying in tip number 4, selling agents can be very pushy when it comes to making an offer. These agents stand there with their Porsche out the front, a team of 4 inside, booklets, flyers, fancy staging, all those sorts of things. And it's important to not get caught up in their sales tactics and their marketing. They'll push you to say, oh, what are you looking at? What are your price points? This is the property for you. It's been beautifully staged and, look at this home. But don't feel like you need to be pressured into making a higher offer. It goes back to points 3 and points 4 in doing your research and removing the emotion. And finally, in this tip number 5, be willing to walk away once you've hit that limit. Typically, in that expression of interest scenario, you're going to be offering at or near your limit if you really like the property, or you'll be throwing in an offer that's 5 or 10% below your top price if you're just interested to see what happens with the deal. At the end of the day, until you've signed a contract, you're not committed to making that purchase. So you can throw expressions of interest or offers out there as long as you're not putting those on signed contracts. Now, before we jump to my bonus tip, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe down below, and head over to Purpose Property if you want to book in a free strategy session with myself if you're looking to buy in the Brisbane market. Now, the bonus tip for today is when dealing with selling agents and looking for your dream home or your next investment purchase, network with the top agents in the suburbs that you're focusing on. So if you're at open homes or you're looking at properties every weekend or during the weekdays, make sure you reconnect with those agents that are in your target areas. You can find out the top agents at ratemyagent.com or something like that, and then you can go and network with those agents. So give them a call once a week. If you see them at open homes, build rapport with them, have conversations, and you're going to get access to more opportunities by doing this in your target suburbs. You don't need to spread yourself thin and look everywhere. If you know exactly what suburbs you really want to narrow in on, network with the top agents in these suburbs, build connections with them, and you'll be able to get access to more opportunities and potentially access pre-market or off-market listings earlier. This can give you a first mover advantage, which essentially is getting your foot in the door first to allow you to make an offer first and show that you're a serious and committed buyer. Look, at the end of the day, selling agents are there to work in the best interest of their vendor. They're trying to get the higher sale price, but they also want to get a deal through, because if they don't make a deal, they don't get paid. So you need to weigh up the seller's motivations and the selling agent's motivations and assess the situation on a case-by-case basis. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. What's the worst experience you've had with a selling agent? Now, the bulk of selling agents are amazing, but there are a few agents out there that give them a bad reputation. So I'd love to hear a story about your worst experience with selling agents. Leave a comment down below and click this video over here for all things real estate, renovating, and financial freedom. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.